Hey guys, thanks for joining us here at Salty Ginger Talk. If you're a returning listener, it's great to have you back. If you're new to the channel, we're glad you joined us and we hope you like what you hear. So, our podcast is for people that want to learn something new or make themselves a little bit better every day. We talk a lot about personal responsibility, personal accountability, stoicism, controlling our emotions, making left brained, fact based, unemotional decisions by how we interact with other people and showing leadership. So, our episode today is about why it is better to beg for forgiveness than to ask for permission. And what we mean by that is you want to default to taking action. And we'll get into all of our reasons. We've got 5 reasons here why we have learned through personal experience that it's much better to control your own destiny, take action, and get after the things that are important to you versus waiting for someone else to give you approval, to validate your thought process, validate that you're on the right track. It's better to take action. And so that's what we're talking about today. It can be launching a new idea, it can be pursuing a passion, or simply standing up for what you believe in. Taking the initiative can make the difference between success and stagnation. If you're mired in a rut, if you want to lose weight, if you're not happy with your career, if you're not happy with the relationship that you're in, if you're not happy because you're not in a relationship, all of those things, the solution is action. Marcus Aurelius said, the obstacle is the way, which means whatever your problem is, you've got to run towards it and confront it so that you can get to where you want to be. The only way is through the obstacle. So it's a really good way to think about it. And we love that quote. We use that quote a lot because we think it's valid in so many different instances of your life. So today, we're going to give you 5 reasons why this is the right approach. We're going to see if we can convince you through our little conversation here to take action. So, number 1, you control your own narrative. So when you take action, you are in control of what's going on in your life. You decide what you work on. You decide how you spend your time. You decide what's important to you. You're not waiting for someone else to validate those things, to give you permission, to tell you it's okay, to make you feel better. That's not the approach successful people take. Life's not a spectator sport. If you're waiting for other people to tell you what to do, you're letting other people run your life. And that's not a place that you want to be. When you take the lead, when you take action, you get to define your goals. You get to choose how you spend your time and what you focus on. And that's where you want to be. So there's lots of examples. We've talked about them before in past episodes. Our last episode, we talked about Netflix, Amazon, J.K. Rowling. There's another example here, Sarah Blakely, who was the founder of Spanx. She didn't wait for someone to validate her idea. In fact, she was trying to be a lawyer and couldn't pass the bar. If I remember right, she failed the bar exam twice. She got her JD and failed the bar exam twice. And so she got this idea about women's undergarments and started making her own. She started cutting the legs off of pantyhose and making this product Spanx, and is now a billionaire because she took action. Now, is that an extreme example? Sure, it's an extreme example. But she controlled her own narrative. She pursued what was important to her. She had an idea and ran with it. Didn't wait for someone to tell her it was okay. Didn't wait for someone to say, oh, this is a great idea. You should do this. She took action. You can't afford to sit on the sidelines and wait and hope and pray that somebody says, yeah, you're good enough. So my last 2 years that I played baseball as a closer, and for those that don't know what a closer do, they come in at the end of really close games. They only play in close games so that the tension is high, the stakes are high. It's win or lose. It's typically a 1 or 2 run game, and you're facing typically the best hitters on the other team, and it's your job to get those hitters out before they can tie or win the game for the other team. And we love that job, even though, hey, look, it sucks. When it goes bad, there's no hiding from it. You lose the game. You're standing on the mound. You're the one that gave up those runs. You are 100% accountable for it. But you're also 100% in control of your destiny, which is what we liked about being a closer. I didn't want to sit and watch somebody else control my destiny or control our team's destiny. I wanted to control that. And so that was why we liked being a closer. And make no mistake about it, it sucks when it goes wrong. But I'd much rather try and fail than I would sit and watch somebody else and cross my fingers and hope it goes well for us. So you control your narrative. You got to take control of it. The way to do that is taking action. So that's our first tip. That's our first reason why it's important for you to keep the mindset that it's better for me to beg for forgiveness after I take action than it is to ask for permission before I take action. So that's number one. Reason number two, action builds confidence, plain and simple. So when you think about all the things that you're good at now, whatever it is, your job, your relationships, you're a parent, there's all sorts of things you can do now that you could never do before in life. We always like to use the example of walking, right? So no kid stands up and just walks across the room. It's a process. They pull themselves up, they fall down. They pull themselves up, they fall down. They pull themselves up and stand for 3 seconds and fall down. They try to take a step and take a digger. They get one step in, then they fall down. It becomes a process. And at no point in that process has anyone ever said, I don't know, kid, you're just not good at walking. Maybe you should just be a crawler for the rest of your life. It just doesn't happen, right? So it builds confidence. Those little steps build confidence. And that's the way you've got to think about action. Confidence doesn't come from overthinking, waiting for perfect conditions, developing the perfect plan. There's a quote that we love that says, a good plan violently executed right now is much better than a perfect plan next week. Because when you take action, you start learning, you build confidence, you get small wins, and you can build on those small wins. Every time you take a step forward, you're proving to yourself that you can do it, that you're capable, that you're on the right track, that you're taking control of your situation. And it's a cycle very much like we talked about learning to walk. Small wins build momentum, and that momentum gives you the courage and the fortitude and the confidence to take on bigger challenges. That's just how life works. So think about it the other way too. Let's say it doesn't go well. Let's say you fail at whatever it is that you're trying. That's all right, because you've still established some confidence, because now you've got experience. You've learned some things that you shouldn't do, that you should watch out for, that you should try to avoid. And you can take those learnings and apply them to future actions. So even if things don't go well, you can use it as a stepping stone to your next action, your next activity, your next attempt at the same thing. We talked about it in the last podcast that we did. WD-40 is called WD-40 because they tried 39 formulations that did not work. They didn't quit, they didn't give up. The 40th formulation did work, and it turned into a product that almost every house has somewhere in their house as of today. So they didn't quit, but you got to take action. You got to build confidence through action. And if you start small and build off of those small wins, you'll be amazed at how quickly you can get down the road. You might not get to where you want to be quickly because, like we talked about in our last episode, there are no overnight successes. It takes work, it takes effort, it takes dedication, it takes commitment. But if you don't start, you can never get to where you're going to go, right? There's the saying that the longest journey in the world starts with a single step. And that's the truth on any journey. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. There's no substitute for just doing the work and taking action. Don't wait for someone to give you permission. Don't wait for someone to tell you it's okay. Make up your mind what you want to do and do it. Start on it. Your future self will thank you for doing that. Step 3. Look, we see it all over the place. The world rewards initiative. If you look at things like Uber or Airbnb, those were disruptors in industries because people had ideas, and Uber didn't go to the taxi industry and say, hey, is it okay if we start this service up? In fact, they absolutely broke some laws in some places because there were laws that said only taxis can pick people up at airports, or you need a medallion in New York City to transport people on New York City streets. They said, look, we've got this idea. We think it works. We're going to go for it. And they took action. Look at where they're at now. Airbnb, the same thing. They didn't want to stay in hotels. They wanted to be able to monetize some of the space they had in real estate. And it started off as like a couch surfing website. And it's built into what it's become today. So those folks didn't wait for opportunities to fall into their laps. They created the opportunities. So almost everyone rewards that type of initiative. Employers, people who want to collaborate with you, communities, they all value people who take charge and make things happen. You get rewarded for action. You get rewarded for results. You don't get results by sitting around and thinking about stuff. We're not saying don't plan. We're not saying just devil may care attitude. We're not saying be reckless. We're not saying any of those things. But at some point, after you've gathered the information, you've put your plan together, you got to pull the trigger. So taking initiative is the way to do that. Taking initiative that the world will reward shows initiative. It shows vision. It shows a willingness to lead. It makes people want to get behind you. It makes people want to support you. It makes people want to buy from you. So that initiative is just terribly important. Like, think about it this way. Who would you rather work with or follow? Someone who is wishy-washy, waits for permission, is scared to make a decision, or someone who's already in there fighting in the trenches, making things happen? We've all had different bosses. We've all had different leaders. We've all worked with different people. And when we think back on the people that have had the biggest impact on us, generally it's the people who said, you know what, we're going to find a way to get this done. We're going to put our plan together. And we're going to execute that plan to the best of our ability, as hard as we can, to get to where we want to be. Those are the people that wind up in leadership roles. Those are the people that wind up successful. And the people that watch this podcast have that mindset. And it doesn't matter if it's personal. It doesn't matter if it's professional. It doesn't matter where it is in your life. It is the right approach. Taking action will always be a better default than sitting and waiting and gnashing your teeth and biting your fingernails and worrying about things. That's not how things work. When you take action, doors open. And even if you don't get some of those opportunities, even if they don't work out, other things that you didn't even know will reveal themselves. So it's a great way to go. You really need to take action because the world rewards initiative. We say luck is where preparation meets opportunity. So when you're doing stuff, when you're prepared, when you've put yourself in positions for opportunities to present themselves, it's funny, they just present themselves. And you have to have the fortitude and the guts to take action when those opportunities present themselves. So the world rewards initiative. If you want more, you got to go out and create it. No one's going to come wander into your living room and hand it to you. That's not how it works. And number 4 is the flip side of that. Waiting breeds frustration and regret. So think about all of the things that you're unhappy with right now. And if you're really honest with yourself, I bet you'll understand that you're unhappy with them because you're not taking action to solve them. You're not actually doing the things you need to do to put those challenges in your rear view mirror. So how many times have you thought about, I wish I'd started sooner? Like we say a lot, there's no perfect time to save money, lose weight, or have kids. You just got to start. You just got to do it. And if you wait for the perfect moment, the perfect ideal conditions, it's just going to delay your progress. Even if you get off to a choppy start, even if it's hard, even if you fail the first couple of times you try something, at least you're on the path and you're moving. Even if you're on the right road, you're going to get run over if you just sit there, right? So you need to take action because the longer you wait, the harder it becomes. It becomes like this giant obstacle. It grows into this huge, heavy thing that's really difficult to get past or through because you've allowed it to be that. And when you think about listening to people reflect on their lives, there's a guy that does interviews with really elderly people in their 80s and 90s. And he asks them questions a lot about what are some things that used to be important to you, aren't important to you, what do you regret, et cetera, et cetera. When they talk about their regrets, it's almost always things they didn't do or didn't pursue. Rarely do we hear people say, I did this for 30 years and I wish I'd never done that. We almost always hear people say, you know what, I was in banking, but I really wish I would have went and got my law degree like I thought about and been a lawyer. Or I really wish I would have got my education and been a school teacher. Or I really wish I would have learned a trade and worked as an electrician or a plumber. Doesn't matter. Point is, they regret the actions they did not take. And waiting is going to breed that frustration and regret. So it's how you grow. It's how you evolve. It's how you achieve things. And you don't want to let your fear or your doubt or your anxiety hold you back. You've got to take the first step. You've got to take the first action. You've got to get in the game and start competing. Remember, compete is a verb. It's an action word. And you want to compete for the things you want in your life. Because again, nobody's going to come hand them to you. Nobody's going to come wander in your living room and hand you the opportunities that you're looking for. You've got to go out and get them. Finally, A fifth reason is you inspire others by taking action, and you want to be a leader. You want to show the way for other people. You want to be an example that people can hold up and go, wow, look at that person. They really kick ass and get after it. And that's what happens when you take action. You inspire others to do the same thing. You might not realize it, but it's absolutely the truth. The people around you see it, your family, your friends, your coworkers. It has a ripple effect across all of those people. When you step up, you're setting an example for those people on how successful people act, on how successful people approach things. And you want to be that leader among your friends, among your coworkers, in your community. And you're showing them it's possible to chase the things that are important to you by you doing it yourself. Think about the people that you look up to. They're action takers, right? So people don't just wander into whatever. We tend to really put entertainers or athletes in high regard. Right, wrong, or indifferent, we place a lot of value on them. And so, but those are people that take action. They didn't just sit around and wait and hope things worked out. They put themselves out there. It's very sorry, I'm searching for the word, James. It's very demoralizing to go to an audition and not get the part, be told you're not good enough, be told that, no, that was terrible, we don't want you. But they took their shot. Same thing getting cut from a team. Like when you go try out and you don't make it, it sucks. Like it sucks to get cut from a team. But those people took a lot of effort and put a lot of work to put themselves in a position to even have the chance. And you inspire others when you do those things. So you want to be the person that's willing to take the risk, that's willing to face the rejection, that's willing to fail, pick yourself up, and get back in the fight. And that's really what we're looking for, or what you're looking for to build the life that you want to build. So there you have it, guys. Those are our 5 reasons. We think they're very powerful, a very powerful argument for taking action. And it's much better, again, we use the phrase a lot, much better to beg for forgiveness than to ask for permission. Don't wait for other people to tell you it's okay. Don't wait for someone to come save you, because nobody is coming. We say it a lot on this channel that nobody cares about you and your failures in your life. Only you care about your life. And think about it the other way. How often do you sit around and think about other people and what they should or shouldn't do? It almost never happens. You're focused on you. But instead of focusing on you, you should be taking action. You should be going out and getting after life. That's how you want it. And just to recap them real quick, what are our reasons again? Control your narrative. Action builds confidence. The world rewards initiative. Waiting leads to regret. And most importantly, your actions can inspire others. So here's our challenge to you. Think of one area of your life that you've been waiting for permission to act, that you're holding back, that you know you should be doing something, but you're not doing it. And then identify one small step that you can take today, right now, to start on those things. And do it. Do it. And it would be great if you would share your stories with us on social media. Comment in our podcast, leave a comment on our Facebook page, leave a comment on our TikTok or our X, wherever. But use the hashtag action over permission. And that way we can celebrate our wins together. We can work together as a group to help each other take action and get after the things that we want in life. So really appreciate you guys checking out the podcast. Hope you found this useful. James puts it up over here every day. Go to our website, saltygingertalk.com. We've got all of our podcast episodes available there. We've got links to all of our social media content there. And we also publish a newsletter every weekday that you can subscribe to on our website. So thanks for checking us out, guys. Hope everyone's having a nice holiday season. Appreciate you coming to the channel, and we will see you next time.